For a little while this morning, I would like to use for a subject, Isaac, a type of Christ. Isaac, a type of Christ. I'm reading a book by the late Dr. M.R. Dehan entitled Adventures in Faith, Studies in the Life of Abraham. This book, my sisters and brothers, deals with the life of Abraham and how his journey of faith began. There are some theological gems in the text that I would like to pull out and extract for you. In this particular text, we see several pictures. We see several pictures or typologies of Jesus Christ. In this chapter, we come to the very climax and goal of faith in the life of Abraham. When God called this man, he had this climax in mind, and he was looking forward to this record in chapter 22 of the book of Genesis. It took the Lord some 60 years to prepare Abraham for this climactic event. Can I share with you this morning that the Lord will never put us to the test until we are fully prepared and ready for it. He will never send trials and tests except he has made preparations for us to come out victorious. Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter number 10, verse number 13, there hath no temptation taken to you such as common to man, but God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but he will with temptation, he will make a way of escape. I'm here to report to you this morning that this is a tremendous comfort to those of us that are going through. That we have to understand that God is able to bring us out of the storms and out of the fires that we are facing. So if God brought you to it, he's God enough to bring you through it. I wish you would touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, while I'm in this fire, I understand that God is able. Somebody here this morning might be dealing with an issue and you don't know how you're going to get out, but I came by here to remind you this morning that God is able. So here was Abraham waiting some 60 years, going through fire after fire, trial after trial, temptation after temptation. And my sisters and brothers, if God would have asked Abraham to sacrifice his son before this time, he would have not been ready for it. So God waited for well over 60 years while he passed Abraham through the fires of trial until Abraham was finally ready to gain the victory and earn the names Father of the Faithful and the Friend of God. In Genesis chapter number 12, we see the beginning of the journey of faith in Abraham. In Genesis 22, we come to the climax of this life of faith and the sacrifice of his beloved son. For 60 long years, it had been a tedious journey and a difficult journey for Abraham. It had been one test after another and one trial after another. And some of us in here this morning are facing the same things. If it's not one thing, it's another. But I'm here to report to you that while you're going through, God is able. This particular verse in the book of Romans really speaks to all of us, and it spoke to Abraham as well. And the Bible says, and we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and that are called according to his purpose. My sisters and brothers, I need to report to you this morning that the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, God is working it together for your good. It might not feel good, it might not look good, it might not even smell good, but you've got to understand, if God puts you in it, he'll bring you out. Now, my sisters and brothers, you've got to understand that God is not in a hurry. And some of us, we want God to do things instantaneously. We want God to work on our time. We want God to do it when we want to do it. But my sisters and brothers, God is sovereign. And God can do whatever he wants to do whenever he gets ready, because he is God. It took 60 years to accomplish this thing that God had called Abraham to do. When he called Abraham as a Gentile out of the Chaldean land, he also had this victory in mind. Remember that God will not put Abraham to the test until he was absolutely ready for it. God would not have asked him to do this thing which climaxed the whole life of faith until he had truly prepared Abraham. And you got to understand, my sisters and brothers, before you can get to the next level in God, you have to go through the process. And some of us, we don't want to deal with the process. We want to skip over the process and automatically get what we want from God. But my sisters and brothers, you've got to understand that God is obligated to take his time. If he can flick the stars into plain space and cause the worlds to twirl, what makes you think he has to rush with you? So here was God preparing Abraham. Here was God preparing Abraham for this final test. Here was God preparing Abraham for this final victory. And my sisters and brothers, you've got to understand that everything that you're going through is used to conform you to the image of his son. Everything that you're going through is used to conform you. What does the word conform mean? It means to join together or to connect. So when you go through, you've got to understand you're going through because God made you to deal with it. My sisters and brothers, you might be dealing with sickness in your body, but you've got to understand that God is able to heal you. I wish you would touch your neighbor and say, God is able. Before we move forward in the text, there's something in verse number 1 that stands out to me. And it says, and it came to pass after these things. Notice it said it came to pass after these things. My sisters and brothers, if Abraham would have gone through this on his first run when he was called by God in Genesis chapter number 12, he would have went down. If he would have did it in chapter number 13, he would have went down. But you've got to understand that God prepared Abraham fully to go through this test. The word in the text, this word in the text that speaks to us is the word tempt. That word used here in the text means to try or to test. My sisters and brothers, you've got to understand that when you got saved, there was a test involved with it. Every day being saved is not a day of a flowery bed of ease. Every day you wake up, it's not going to feel like sunshine. Some days you're going to feel like, God, why is it me? God, why did you choose to save me? God, I don't feel like praying, but I pray anyhow. I don't feel like praising, but I praise anyhow because I understand what he said in Psalms 34 and verse number 1. I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praises shall continually be in my mouth. My soul, even though everything around me is going to be crazy, my soul will praise you in spite of, because I understand, God, that you said you'll bring me fruit. So here was Abraham. Here was Abraham. It was Abraham. It was Abraham. It was Abraham. It was Abraham getting ready to go through this thing, and it came to pass after these things. My sisters and brothers, you've got to understand there are some things that you'll have to deal with in this life, but God is fully preparing you to go through. Just like Job, when he went through all of the stuff he went through, Job said, naked I came into this world, and naked I shall leave. The good Lord giveth, and the good Lord taketh away. But blessed be the name of the Lord. Job said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him, and I maintain my ways before him. So I keep on coming to church. I keep on tithing because I know that God will make a way. Do I have the witness here? So he was Abraham, getting ready to go through this thing. And my sisters and brothers, the next thing, the first thing we see in the text is the willingness of the Father. We have here a picture of the Father's willingness to give his only son. My sisters and brothers, Abraham had sons. He had Ishmael, who was born 13 years prior to Isaac. But my sisters and brothers, you've got to understand that God chose Isaac because he was miraculously born. He was the supernaturally given son of God. And my sisters and brothers, when God was willing to give his son, our mind should reflect to John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever will believeth on him shall not perish but have everlasting life. My sisters and brothers, Isaiah chapter number 53 verse number 10 says, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He had put to him our griefs. My sisters and brothers, our mind cannot ability to praise sinners like ourselves was so great that he gave his best. He gave his best when we were at our worst. And while we were yet in sin, in due time, Christ died. So the only thing we should do and the only thing we can do is stand in the presence of God and say, how great thou art. I can stand at the cross and say, this is my soul, my Savior God, to thee how great thou art. My sisters and brothers, Abraham was told by God, take thine only son. Like I said, Abraham had sons prior to Isaac. Ishmael was born 13 years prior to Isaac, but God recognized him as a fit sacrifice. The only son miraculously born, supernaturally given, the promised son. God the Father also gave his only son, my sisters and brothers, and he too had many sons. If we read in the book of Job, where it says, talks about this great host of angelic beings, they are also called the sons of God. And Luke calls Adam the son of God. And those of us who are saved, we are called the sons and the daughters of God. But my sisters and brothers, angels could not fulfill the requirement that we needed. Abraham could not pay for his own sins, and we were unable to choose a living Savior. So God sent his son down through 42 generations to be born in another man's stable, to be raised in another man's house, to eat from another man's stable, to die on another man's cross, to be buried in another man's tomb, but to be raised for another man's victory. I'm glad today that I am the other man. It was Isaac was Abraham's well-beloved son. When we think about this, it should warm our hearts to think about what God did for us when he sent his son from glory down a sin-cursed road to come to where we were. And my sisters and brothers, you got to understand that just as Abraham loved his son, God loved his son. Could you imagine the pain that Abraham was feeling? Could you imagine what Abraham was going through? And those of you who have children, you understand that you would give your very life for the child that you have. But my sisters and brothers, take this and no offense, but your love is so low. Your love is so weak compared to what God did on the cross with his own son. For a split second, God turned his back on his son and he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I feel like the preaching in here today. God is here. God and Abraham, it was God taking Abraham and his well-beloved son up to the mountain. And my sisters and brothers, you got to understand that everything that you're going through, everybody can't go with you. The text says he told the two lads, stay here with the donkey, while me and my son go up yonder to worship. And my sisters and brothers, this road was not cut out for everybody. Everybody can't travel down the same road that you travel down. Everybody can't do the same things that you do. But you've got to understand while you're going up, you're not by yourself. God said, I'll never leave you, nor will I forsake you. I'll be with you until the end of time. My sisters and brothers, after God tells him what he has to do, then he tells him where he has to go. God pointed out a definite location. God pointed out a definite mountain in the land of Moriah.